Austria is ready to host Ukraine-Russia talks without preconditions, says Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer on X.
Які мають відбутися без попередніх умов та на рівних. Про це саме заявив у соцмережі X федеральний канцлер Австрії Karl Nehammer.
European Pravda reports. He wrote that the country takes into account the Russian president's statements about his openness to, so to speak, peace talks with Ukraine. We know what kind of peace talks the Russian Federation seeks, but Austria is ready to host the negotiations. Any negotiations should occur without preconditions and on an equal footing. Austria will be ready to support a just and sustainable peace based on international law and serve as a platform for negotiations as the host country of the OSCE headquarters. Earlier, Nehammer called for de-escalation and talks amid the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant fire. In August, German Ambassador Alexander Graf Lambsdorff said Russia wasn't ready for talks with Ukraine. Energoatom has announced that power supply to the temporarily occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has been restored via 2 lines from the Ukrainian grid. The second damaged power line was brought back online on September 5th at 1440. The statement reads that Ukrainian power engineers returned the damaged second power line to operation on September 5th at 1440 today. Power to the temporarily occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has been restored via 2 lines from the Ukrainian grid. This is stated in the report. It is worth recalling that on September 2nd this year, one of the 2 external overhead lines was damaged due to Russian shelling. In addition, Ukrainian specialists could not inspect the damage and begin repairs because of the threat of repeated shelling by Russian troops. And as for the situation at Zaporizhzhia MPP, we all know that after the occupation of Zaporizhzhia MPP in March 2022, the situation remains tense. The station is under the control of the Russian military, which raises great concerns about its safety. Staff are working under pressure, there are power outages, and the IAEA has repeatedly called for demilitarization. The occupiers are preventing access to the station. As President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky noted earlier, the return of the plant to Ukrainian control is seen only as a political process. And to the fact that the new Liberal government of Britain wants to breathe new energy into the 2-year international effort to create a special tribunal with the authority to try Russia's leadership for the crime of aggression. This was stated by Kardian, Lord Chancellor, Minister of Justice Shabana Mahmoud, reports Evropska Pravda. Britain is a key member of a group of over 40 countries seeking justice for Russian leaders. President Putin, Prime Minister Mishustin, and Foreign Minister Lavrov. Mahmoud said that urgent measures need to be taken not only on the front line, but also in the legal sphere because of what has happened to Ukraine. We want to inject some energy into this process because it has been going on for too long. We want to work through this very carefully, but at the right pace to block the best mechanism for creating a special tribunal. She spoke ahead of a Council of Europe Justice Ministers meeting in Vilnius to discuss advancing the debate on an international tribunal for global legitimacy, akin to the Nuremberg trials. This is the first time Labour in the government has called for holding Putin accountable for the Ukraine invasion. According to a representative of the British government, is aware of the strong support in Ukraine and elsewhere for the idea that the Council of Europe should play a central role in the creation of a special tribunal. The new administration, she said, is considering all options, adding that Ukrainian enthusiasm for such an accountability system is not waning. Alicia Cairn said this week that under David Cameron, the Conservatives favored a special tribunal in a third country. based on a Council of Europe Ukraine treaty and supported by a UN General Assembly vote.
Радою Європи та Україною і підтриманий ширшим колом держав-членів шляхом голосування на Генеральній асамблеї.
Mahmoud stressed the need for an effective, legally sound, and efficient mechanism without delays.
Який буде відповідати правовим викликам і буде дієвим, не сповільнюючи процес.
She added, "We are deeply committed to the Council of Europe and the European Convention on Human Rights, which is more crucial than ever due to the situation in Ukraine." In the UK, the special tribunal idea is mainly pushed by Philip Sands and former Prime Minister Gordon Brown. The UN Security Council's path to a special tribunal is blocked by a Russian veto, making the Council of Europe the best alternative. The ICC cannot try the crime of aggression, though it has issued arrest warrants for Putin over Ukrainian child abductions, and for former Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu over bombings of infrastructure from October 2022 to March 2023. It has been argued that the ICC cannot try three key members of the Russian leadership who led the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. ICC prosecutor Karim Khan held talks with Mahmoud this week and has previously questioned the value of a special tribunal if it duplicates the work of the ICC.
Він ставив під сумнів цінність спеціального трибуналу, якщо він дублює роботу Міжнародного кримінального суду.